Yes.
We got our museum card.
Museum card.
300 museum in Turkey.
Good morning from Tales of Tera. Another day.
Another adventure.
Behind the camera is my darling Fethiye. We're visiting Bodrum Castle today, occupied by the Knights of St. John. The cannons, one of the first examples of artillery, were first used in the 12th century AD. They have been used in Asia, Middle East, and Europe since the 14th century. In the Ottoman Empire, cannons played an important role in all sieges from the 15th century, especially the conquest of Istanbul. Since the end of the Middle Ages, cannons were also used on ships. In the 15th century, most of the strong states that have dominated the Mediterranean placed heavy cannon on bow or sterns to bomb coastal fortifications. The cannons in the exhibition are dated to the 18th and the 19th century. All of them are cast iron, made for naval use. Lord, protect us in our sleep. Save us. When we awake, without your protection, nobody can protect us. We're at the Gateway Tower. The Gateway Tower that is reached by the path and ramp opening to the gate at the west fosse in the control tower of the drawbridge. So we have taken this from the Knights of St. John, and those who were here when they left to Malta. If you go to Island of Malta, you will see all the remnants. There will be stories told how Ottomans tried to capture Malta. This group of coats of arms was made in 1472. Two coats of arms placed up on bottom and figures on the right and left can be seen on the rectangular form.
And for a storage exhibition, let's go and explore.
Okay, let's do that. Should I come down?
Yes.
The objects found during the excavation of the Caledonia shipwreck. The Bodrum Castle was used as a storeroom until it became a museum in 1964. This hall was used as a museum amphora storeroom for many years. It has now been repurposed as a storeroom for the amphoras from the Bodrum shipwreck and open to the visitors.
The Museum of Underwater Archaeology itself was founded in 1962. Initially, restoration of the castle was the priority. Later, exhibition halls were created in the available space. The museum received a special commendation in 1995 as the European Museum of the Year. In the process of the museum being set up, it became the first museum to be awarded a grant from the Turkish government. Funds were awarded to transform the castle from an abandoned torture prison to a public museum. Some of the treasures at the Bodrum Museum of Underwater Archaeology include the finds from the Bronze Age Uluburun shipwreck, believed to have sunk in 14th century BC, and discoveries from a 5th century ship, most of which includes glassware, lending it the name of the Glasswreck. The Museum of Underwater Archaeology also has other departments, including its secret museum which explores ancient forms of medicine. The exhibitions are dotted around its halls and towers, allowing visitors to learn more about the underwater finds whilst exploring the castle. Today, there are 14 exhibition halls in the Museum of Bodrum. Many of the items found in the museums can be touched, felt and read about by visiting tourists. Each shipwreck found in the museum takes its name from the area that they were found. The items that these ships were carrying can be seen in the display cabinets. Although the castle is under the auspices of the Turkish Ministry of Culture, all the museum exhibitions are overseen by the Institute of Nautical Archaeology, an American non-profit organization with bases both in Bodrum and Texas. The biggest group of artifacts on display in the museum are the amphoras, two-handled and portable jugs with a pointed bottom which were used in the commerce of ancient times to carry and store wine, olive oil and dry foodstuff. The museum houses the world's biggest Eastern Mediterranean amphora collection.
The ship that sank around 1200 BC at Cape Caledonia, at the western entrance to the Bay of Antalya, became the first ancient shipwreck to be archaeologically excavated in its entirety on the seabed. The wreck was excavated in 1960 by George F. Bass for the University of Pennsylvania. The excavation rewrote the history of the late Bronze Age. For possessions of the ship's crew, including scrabbers, seats of balance and weights, stone mortars, a razor, and a merchant cylinder seal, as well as the ship's stone anchor, indicate a Near Eastern, perhaps Canatonian origin of the ship. The ship carried about a ton of metal for making new bronze implements. Tatlı bir girişim var senin Mila. Bir şeyler söyle. Hasmila. How lovely.
Başka ikinci adın ne senin?
Milanur.
Milanur. Evet.
Milanur.